Hello and welcome to another video. I hope that you're all very well. Before COVID, the average waiting time for a driving test was about 2 months. However, if you paid a third-party company a few pounds extra, they would often find your test a lot sooner than that. Everything seemed to be working fine. And then along came COVID. Due to COVID, driving tests had to be suspended, not just once, but on several occasions. This caused a huge backlog. I totally understand that no one could have been prepared for this. However, in an attempt to clear the backlog, the DVSA made matters worse. A lot worse. Previously, any company could access the DVSA booking system through the government gateway. Now, only registered driving instructors are allowed to access the gateway to book driving tests for their pupils. Since the changes have been made, learner drivers are finding it almost impossible to get a driving test at their local test centre. Some of them are having to travel to the other side of the country just to attend a driving test appointment. Why is this? Well, we've all seen posts on social media advertising tests from £200 all the way to £500 at popular test centres such as Isleworth in West London. Who is selling these tests and how are they getting the dates? The only people that can access the DVSA booking system on the gateway are registered driving instructors. There may be a handful of instructors out there who have stopped work altogether. Instead, what they do is they use the government gateway system to find tests for learner drivers and sell them on WhatsApp groups and on social media. To make matters worse, there are companies out there who steal the personal information of driving instructors and use this personal information to log in to the government gateway system. These few people are not only destroying the industry, but are causing a havoc to the lives of learner drivers. I've heard of learner drivers who have paid more than £200 for a driving test and then turn up at the driving test centre only to be told that the test has been cancelled. It's been a whole year since the DVSA has promised that the waiting lists will come down. Now, a year later, in the name of bringing the waiting list down, the DVSA wants to introduce more changes. One, they want to introduce the length of time that a person has to wait between tests. Currently, the minimum wait is 10 working days. They want to change this to 28 working days. Another change they want to introduce is the time that a learner driver has to give to cancel the test without losing their fee. Currently, this time is 3 working days. However, the DVSA wants to increase this to 10 working days. The biggest change that the DVSA want to introduce is to force driving instructors to display their ADI certificate when their vehicle goes for a driving test. Currently, driving instructors must display their certificate only when they are teaching. So when their car goes for a driving test, they are no longer teaching and the certificate can be removed. You might be thinking, what's that got to do with any learner driver? It definitely hasn't got anything to do with me. It makes no difference to me. As a matter of fact, forcing a driving instructor to display their certificate will cause a lot of problems for many learner drivers. Let me give you an example. Let's assume that you have your driving test next week. However, your driving instructor feels that you are not 100% there. they feel that you've only got a 50-50 chance. So there's a good chance that you may equally pass or equally fail. The instructor will currently tell you, look, I'm advising you to take a few more lessons on this subject, and let's improve your driving. You may decide to take those lessons, you may not decide to take the lessons. However, more than likely, the instructor will still allow you to go for the driving test. The instructor might think, well, he may pass or she may pass, and if they fail, they'll come back and take a few lessons, and next time they'll surely pass. No big deal. However, with the instructors forced to display their badge, the instructor's record will be checked. Every single person that goes for a driving test, the instructor's record will be attached to their mistakes. The DVSA then will pull this instructor up and say, listen, how come all these people are failing? How come you've got such a low pass rate? The DVSA can also ask the instructor, or should I say, order the instructor to do a check test. And if they don't pass that check test, they could end up losing their job. So with the introduction of the badges being forced to be displayed, a driving instructor with the same scenario, let's say you have a driving test next week and your instructor will think, you know what, this person's not ready. I'm not going to have this person spoiled my record. I'm not going to be called up for an interview by the DVSA. I'm not going to have a check test for no apparent reason. They would rather refuse you for the test than to take all the extra hassle. With the new rule to say that you need to give 10 working days to cancel the driving test, that's full 2 weeks. Not only will you miss your driving test, but you will also end up losing your £62 test fee. So what can be done about this? Well, firstly, avoid paying a third party for a driving test. If your driving instructor has recommended a third party to you, then that's fine, provided if and only if your driving instructor is prepared to accept full responsibility. So if you turn up at the test center and there's no test, at least you know that your instructor is accepting the full responsibility and will ensure that you get your money back. The second thing that you can do and should do, if you see a post on social media, for example, Facebook, selling driving test dates, you should report it to Facebook and they will get it removed. After all, it's illegal. Would you report someone selling drugs on Facebook? If so, why not someone selling driving tests? They are both illegal activities. I personally think that if the DVSA truly wanted to reduce the overall waiting time, they can do so within a month or two. All they've got to do is, at the end of each test, the examiner can ask the pupil how much they paid for their driving test and who they paid. With that information, they can check which instructor's ID was used to book that particular test. If it was a genuine instructor, then they can lose their job. They would be struck off. If it was a third party using the instructor's details, then that instructor's account can be blocked and a new one created for that particular instructor. I understand that this video has not been good news for the learner driver. However, if you have any thoughts on how the waiting times for a driving test can be reduced, or you have any information that will help any learner driver, then please comment in the text below and share your thoughts through this channel. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.